So today we're going to talk about bursts, but not just burst. We're going to talk about the offensive burst a little bit. Offensive burst because one, I haven't talked about it, and two, this is yet another defensive option that not everybody is too hip to. So first, what does it do when you connect with it? You get all your meter. So depending on your character, Gold Burst could be a huge game changer. So of course I have Ino. We know that once Ino gets a lot of meter, her neutral gets a lot stronger because she can super in neutral. Not everybody has a good way of dealing with this. It leads into hard knockdown. It leads into a mix-up on block. Like, it's a very, very useful move that really immediately changes how the game is played. When Gold Burst comes into play, like, the match instantly shifts depending on your character. If you play Milia, for example, like, you don't really change so much as a character. There's some, like, subtle things that happens, but there are some characters that change a lot when they get 100 meter or even 50 meter. So first, in my opinion, the characters that are affected a lot by having a lot of meter slash Gold Burst, right? You got Jacko, she has the cheer super, that's just mad good. Low-key Leo, because he's got DP into roaming cancel, right? Leo. This depends on how you're feeling, right? This depends on how you're feeling, but Faust gets the RNG item throw super, which can maybe change the game, maybe not. Axel, I would say before, maybe not, but now they have a buff to his JoJo super, the time stop super. So maybe there's something there. I don't know. Soul, as we all know, it's Vortex RC. Kyle, of course, is Stun Dipper RC. But Temkin actually changes it's multiple things. So not only do you have to deal with the potential of, let's say, a Garuda Impact BRC, but you also have to deal with Hammerfall PRC, which is mad obnoxious. You can't jump too much because of Heavenly. Even if it's not as good as previous games, still just something you have to look for. And he gets the Aegis Reflector super also that a lot of characters can't deal with very well. So Mei gets Dolphin RC. We all know that Dolphin's really good. And it's not so much about doing the Dolphin RC straight up as much as her return if she hits you with S-Dolphin. That's the actual thing. Ram, we all know, Ram gets, I don't know the name of the move. It's like a gigantic, like 2/3 of the screen swing that she can RC and just get in from mostly anywhere. Geo gets the air super that you gotta look for. Here would be Amorphous more than anything else to establish himself. Fortissimo, as we mentioned. And he gets Burn It Down, as they call it. So he gets, it's a tracking super that tracks from behind you. Depending on the security level, the beams and pillars would travel further. So when should you try to Gold Burst / when should you look for Gold Burst? Let's talk about looking for Gold Burst originally, right? So Gold Burst, it's like the first time in any Arxis game that this is a thing. But Gold Bursts are actually -10. Gold Bursts are -10. There you go. So Gold Bursts are -10 this game, so you actually get a punish. Generally in other Arxis games, they're plus. Or there's like Sparking and Dragon Ball, where this one, it is punishable. So one example of a place you could try to Gold Burst is after throw, because when you get thrown, you can't Blue Burst at all. The burst you should get is going to be Gold Burst. So this is actually a pretty common strategy in previous Guilty Gear games. The main difference, of course, is that this time it's punishable. So even though you have it available, you just have to be careful. It's probably like the easiest, absolute easiest way and most guaranteed way to do it. Other spots you can use it. So let's say you're not doing anything and there's like a super flash. You can get away with it there. So a character that is definitely worth knowing about this is actually Lord Potemkin. One of the things you can do to avoid Heavenly Potemkin Buster is actually to Gold Burst. So I'm going to show it real quick. Speaking of Potemkin, if you think you're going to get grabbed, it's also not a bad idea to try to Gold Burst. Because you're not in block stun or hit stun, so not only will you burst him off you, like I could Blue Burst and definitely get him off me, especially because the 2S is not jump cancelable, right? His close slash is jump cancelable, so you would have to like be careful bursting there. But in the spot where I'm not in block stun or hit stun, I could use the Gold Burst to defend myself from Potemkin Buster. It's pretty high return, so you can use it against grabs as well. Similarly, you could use it in like any big gap. So there's a big gap in between this. Like you can't really do this unless you're really sitting there super scared of him. There's a very large gap. I'm gonna assume it's around like 14-15 frames because I think Garuda is more than 30 frames. So of course it's nice to have another defensive option, but having this is just another way you can open up your defensive stack, especially if you might think that your character doesn't have really good defensive options in general. So I need to switch characters. I'm going to switch to a character that people tend to think does not have good defense. So Gold Lewis, a lot of people are like, this character doesn't have good defense, right? Most people say his defense is trash. We can meme and say he's got absolute defense, but like, you know, his jump is slow, his super jump doesn't go that high, you know, his fastest button is 6 frames, but you can 6p this and go under this and stuff. So one thing that really does legitimately help him, because with Gold Burst, whether or not I do it as a reversal after throw because it's just easy to do, or I do it against the throw, like the throw attempt, what happens is he gets to do this, and now I have immediate threats, and then, you know, I get to just do what I do. I immediately turn the game around, and I still have 50 meter to do, like, other stuff. Going from this to this and having this much neutral presence is, like, really powerful. Again, as I said at the beginning of the video, a lot of characters have, maybe not stuff directly like this, like something that tracks you and pulls you at them, but they have some type of thing that immediately changes what they do without having to break the wall. Is there a reason to Gold Burst in neutrals? Some people do it as a way to just try to turn the game around, again because of bar. In previous versions of Guilty Gear, you would get bar and your plus also. So like sometimes it's like you're not even trying to hit them with the Gold Burst, you just want the person to get off you. So for example, as a Millia player, Gold Burst before gave me legitimate problems because it was plus. So like, because you really, in Exert where you got like 25 meter full screen slowdown and shit, you really don't want your opponent to get meter for free.